Thank you, David. So as David mentioned, we were part of the Veterans Poetry Circle. It started about a year ago, last fall. A woman named Ruth Moda started the group, and she started meeting with veterans and doing a little bit of instruction, inviting veterans in to write and share their poetry. So that we originally met for about 12 weeks. After that, we moved on to a sort of an online forum, and we still kept in touch. And then when David approached me about the Veterans Poetry event in November, I thought it would be a good time to restart the meetings. And so for the last 8 weeks leading up to this, we've been meeting. Just a quick plug for the Veteran Services Office and Vets for Vets. There's information over there. If you are a veteran or you know a veteran, it's a great place to get connected to your benefits, and Vets for Vets is a nonprofit that helps a lot of veterans in our community. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up our first poet, Thom. Thom served in the Navy from 1975 to 1981. He worked with submarine electronics and did 2 special operation deployments in the Pacific. After service, Thom continued to work in the field of electronics. He has lived in California, Europe, Asia, and has been married to his best friend for 45 years. So if we could welcome Thom to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm nervous, but that's okay. I'll look at you, and you can be nervous too. I've got a couple of things that I've been playing around with here. I thought I'd share with you. First one I want to read is a Haibun poem, which is kind of a Japanese hybrid, where you take a paragraph of prose and then you couple it with a haiku or a tanka or some other short poem like that. These were originally used as travel journals. That's how they wrote them. I call this one ephemera. The gentle hum of bees fills the air. I sing to them as I slog along the fence, guarding Farmer Morton's trees. I listen and watch them work. They're tireless. Blossoms perfume the air, and each day is a little warmer, a little more fragrant than the day before. Singing is the secret. My mother never sang out here, and although her honey was sweet, mine always seems sweeter. I sing with my daughter in anticipation, where my voice is gruff and low. Hers carries the timbre of a violinist, sul tasto, ephemeral, light, airy, delicate and fleeting. Her voice will blend in harmony with the sounds of the workers. The hives are abuzz. It's almost time to harvest. 3 frames from a hive produces about 10 pounds that tastes as sweet as it looks. Thanks, guys. This one I call Thoughts Without a Home. Write them down quick before you forget. I love to hear the full laughter that accompanies unbridled joy and amusement. I love those moments when the alignment is perfect and things work together as though by design. I love the spark in your eye and the song in your step. I love to envision an idea, run with it, expand on it, and realize it. I love when that idea forms as manifest and tangible and is better than hoped, more than anticipated. I love the resonance of your voice when you say my name. I love the light reflecting back from the water. I love the quiet that allows introspection. I love your smile. There's a crowd in the next room, huddling on the broken sofa and metal folding chairs, all formed into a rough circle. As if by prearrangement, they've all tucked in their chins, tucked them into scarves and sweaters that are pulled up over their chins, over their lips, seeking warmth. Through the glass window, I watch their eyes. I watch their eyes dart back and forth, wary, untrusting, vigilant, scared. A tiny young girl with dark hair and an orange wool coat and an orange knit beret of a slightly different shade is slowly and purposely cracking the knuckles of each hand, her legs extended straight out in front of her, crossed at the ankles. With her chin pulled back against her chest and tucked inside her bright wool coat, she looks bored. There's a heavy-set and broad-shouldered guy with straight blonde hair, long, stringy, unkempt, unwashed. He sits on the edge of his seat and watches the girl with the beret. His rust-colored flannel pulls tight across his belly, buttonholes stretched, about to tear. He's speaking, addressing the group until he stops, and they all seem to applaud politely. Some of them stand, and one of the standers grabs my attention. She's been sitting with her back towards me, facing the rear wall. Her ass is wedged into a tight pair of skinny black jeans, and she wears a light brown cable knit sweater. When she moves, she walks straight across the circle of seats and pauses at the other side, where she leans down to speak softly to a balding man who has his chin tucked into a navy blue scarf that's been wrapped around his neck a couple of times. As he listens, he crinkles his forehead and knits his brows. She straightens and he nods his head once, then studies the floor, analyzing the linoleum tiles that she has just traversed. She turns her head and waves to the group. She's older than I thought, I think, as I watch her head towards the door. Nervous eyes follow her as she pushes her way out and disappears into the night. Then it hits me. They're 12-steppers. They're 12-steppers who cannot trust one another. They're trying hard to fix what they might never understand. And I got one more if you guys will let me do one more. Lyrics linger in the wake of her passing and the memory of her scent. The floral aroma that falls lazily to the pavement and lingers. Oh, to hear the poem shouted by the fog creeping silently up the quiet streets of this decaying seaside town. The wet smell of the swamp arrives, ripe with rhyme and emotion. Verses flutter earthward from the limbs of the ginkgo, where they wait to be collected by groundskeepers and hidden from our sight forever. Song lives in the words of the poet and the lingering drops of a summer shower. That's all I got for you guys.
Great. Thank you, Thom. So the next poet that we're going to bring up is named Pam. Pam served in the Navy from 1981 to 1984 as a mess management specialist. She also served in the active reserves from 1984 to 1986 hauling explosives. She spent a year and 9 months overseas. After completing her service, she cooked, catered, and owned and operated both a bike shop and a janitorial company and raised 3 beautiful children. Apart from writing poetry, Pam also paints, makes charcoal art, and also mixed media art pieces. Please welcome Pam to the stage.
Hi. I'm very nervous, so here goes. 35 years. What war were you in? A war of my own. Betrayed, left alone to die, I joined the Navy to see the world. Young, idealistic, ready for adventure, knowing that at any time war might be a part of the commitment. Fighting the enemy, this I could imagine. This I trained for. Fighting one of my own, that was not something I signed up for. Not mentioned in any of the training manuals. What war were you in? The battle for my life. Ambushed, beaten, bloodied, threatened with death. I can still hear his voice. If you scream, I'll kill you. The aftermath. I cry for the part of me that has died. I cry for the part of me that had faded with time. I cry as if to say goodbye. I cry because I know what it is like to be left alone to die. I cry tears of grief mixed with depression. I cry for all that mattered, yet never really came to be. And then this next one, I'll preface because I wrote it when I was sitting with my mom 2 months ago today as she passed. So I have to pull it up here. It's simply called Mom. And I'll try to make it through it. Mom, I want you to know how much I really do love you. I ask forgiveness for not being able to show my love in hugs and kisses. I ask forgiveness for my impatience at times. I am honored to have walked this journey with you these past 6 months, as well as these past 11 years. I did not feel burdened. I need you to know that. I felt tired at times and frustrated. That is not you, that is me. I would watch you as you slept, wondering if your last breath was drawing near. I would silently ask for you to be at peace. I cried many times as you slept, wondering why you had to suffer, asking for your suffering to be lifted from you, speaking to you in a whisper, wanting your pain and suffering to end, yet needing you to stay with me. You shared your fears, tears, longing for your children to be okay. I am going to miss your sense of humor, your old-time TV shows, sweet tooth, red hair, deep raspy voice, memories you shared, most of all you. Love you, Mom. Here's to one more fist bump.